Life is a tapestry of joy and sorrow, success and failure, light and darkness. Yet, one of the most perplexing questions humanity has grappled with is, why do bad things happen to good people? If the world were just, wouldn't kindness always be rewarded? And evil always punished? But life, as we know it, doesn't operate on such a simple equation. Good people suffer, and bad people often seem to enjoy life. This paradox has puzzled philosophers, theologians, and everyday individuals for centuries. Let's explore this question through stories, spiritual insights, and the concept of karma. There's an old story of a water bearer who carried two pots every day. One pot was perfect, while the other pot had a crack. The cracked pot could only deliver half its water by the time it reached its destination. One day, the cracked pot apologized to the water bearer for its flaw. The water bearer smiled and pointed to the path they walked every day. On one side, there were beautiful flowers blooming. He explained, "I planted seeds on your side of the path, and every day you watered them. Without your flaw, these flowers would not exist." This story reminds us that what we perceive as bad or imperfect often has a purpose. The suffering of good people may seem unfair, but it can lead to growth, resilience, and even beauty. The cracks in our lives allow us to water the seeds of compassion, wisdom, and strength. Many spiritual traditions suggest that suffering is a test of faith and character. In the Bible, Jacob is a prime example. He was a righteous man who lost everything, his wealth, his health, and even his family. Yet, through his suffering, he emerged with a deeper understanding of God and himself. His story teaches us that suffering is not always a punishment, but often a means of spiritual refinement. Similarly, in Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of karma plays a significant role. Karma is not about immediate justice, but about the long-term consequences of actions. Good people may suffer because of past karma, but their current goodness will sow seeds for a better future. As the saying goes, what goes around comes around. The universe operates on a timeline far beyond our comprehension. Imagine a storm raging through a forest. The mighty oak tree stands tall, resisting the wind with all its strength. Meanwhile, the bamboo bends and sways, seemingly vulnerable. When the storm passes, the oak is uprooted while the bamboo remains standing. The bamboo's flexibility allowed it to survive. Good people often face storms, illness, betrayal, loss, but their ability to endure and adapt makes them stronger. Suffering is not a sign of weakness, but an opportunity to develop resilience. As the Japanese proverb says, "Fall 7 times, stand up 8." Another perspective is that suffering exists because of free will. If we were all programmed to do only good, we would be like robots, not humans. Free will allows us to choose between good and evil, but it also means that bad things can happen to good people. A drunk driver may cause an accident, or a dishonest person may betray a trusting friend. These actions are not a reflection of the victim's worth, but a consequence of others' choices. History is filled with examples of good people who turned their pain into purpose. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet he emerged without bitterness, leading South Africa toward reconciliation. Malala Yousafzai was shot for advocating girls' education, but became a global symbol of courage and hope. Their suffering was not in vain, it became a catalyst for change. Even in our personal lives, suffering often leads to transformation. A failed relationship teaches us about self-worth. A financial loss teaches us about resilience. A health crisis teaches us to appreciate life. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. The question of why bad things happen to good people may never have a definitive answer. Life is a complex interplay of choices, circumstances, and cosmic forces beyond our understanding. What we can control, however, is how we respond to suffering. Do we let it break us, or do we let it shape us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate beings? Perhaps the purpose of suffering is not to punish, but to teach. It reminds us of our shared humanity, our capacity for empathy, and our potential for growth. As we navigate the storms of life, let us remember that even in the darkest moments, there is a glimmer of light, a lesson to be learned, a flower to be watered, or a strength to be discovered. In the end, it's not about why bad things happen, but how we rise above them. And in that rising, we find the true meaning of being good. If this video inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more motivation, and share it with someone who needs a boost today. Until next time, stay motivated, stay inspired, and keep shining. See you in the next video. Shubham Bhavtu.